So in today's video, I explain how I'm getting vitamin D during lockdown. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow the stump for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I jump into the video, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. So one of the greatest health discoveries over the last 100 years has been the discovery of vitamin D. And in terms of D vitamins, there are 5 in its group. So D1, D2, D3, D4, and also D5. And of these 5, 2 are pivotal and important for human health and metabolism, so D2 and also D3. Now, I am personally producing sufficient vitamin D by daily sun exposure in the garden during lockdown. So in today's video, I will explain the process of producing vitamin D from the sun, and for those who simply can't get outside, what their best options are in terms of supplementation. Now, if you're outside in the sun with a UV index of 6 to 7 with lots of skin exposed for 20 to 30 minutes in midday sun, you will form anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 international units of vitamin D. And the great thing about this when you do this is that over 3,000 healing genes are activated in the body. That's how important vitamin D is. Now, you want to be doing this in midday sun in your spring and summer months. So in the northern hemisphere, this is April to September, and in the southern hemisphere, this is the opposite. During these months and between the peak hours of 11 AM to 4 PM, ultraviolet B will get through the ozone layer in much greater quantities to help you produce lots of vitamin D. Outside of these peak hours, you will be exposed to ultraviolet A and you won't produce enough vitamin D. And to give you an idea how much 10,000 international units is, the RDA for adult men and women is only about 600 to 800 international units per day. So if you get lots of sunshine during the summer months, then you will more than likely have sufficient vitamin D during the winter months, as it is stored in the body. We know this because vitamin D has a half-life of around 10 to 13 weeks. That simply means that your vitamin D levels in your body would drop in half if you were not exposed to the sun or you didn't get any vitamin D via your diet. Now, the half-life of vitamin D has been fairly well studied, and some of the best data we have available is from Navy personnel who work on submarines. You can obviously measure their vitamin D levels before going under the sea for 2 to 3 months, take into account their vitamin D in their diets, and then measure their D levels when they resurface, and this will give you a good idea on the half-life of vitamin D. So from this kind of data, we know that the decay rate or the half-life in the body is approximately 10 to 13 weeks, which is quite a long time. So if you're boosting your vitamin D levels in the summer, then during the winter months, the levels are only going to come down very gradually. So if you sufficiently boost your D levels in the summer, then you are unlikely to need supplementation, or maybe only at the tail end of the winter. So vitamin D is something that we call an epigenetic modulator, i.e. we know that the genetics that we are born with don't always control our health outcomes. So these 3,000 healing genes that are switched on from our exposure to the sun are helping stack the odds in our favour as they help with repairing our DNA. So quite simply, vitamin D is probably one of the most potent epigenetic substances on the planet. Now, a common question that I'm currently getting a lot is that I'm locked indoors, should I take a supplement, and if so, which one should I take? Now, for me, this is a double-edged sword. I will always advocate sun exposure over supplements. Vitamin D effectively acts as a hormone in the body, and very little research exists over the long term which analyses supplement use in the body. With that being said, if you are going to supplement, then here is some general advice for you to think about. So vitamin D3 is the primary form of vitamin D that you should be supplementing with. It is what your body produces. So for some reason, and it's beyond me, the medical profession is still prescribing vitamin D2 in many cases. Now, if you look at the half-life of D2, it's actually only around 7 days. So in 2 weeks, that amount you have taken has gone from your body. Also, another reason that you should take D3 over D2 is the impacts that it has on blood levels of vitamin D. Generally speaking, if you were to take vitamin D3 for 2 months and then vitamin D2 for 2 months, then your blood levels of vitamin D from D2 would be half of that compared to you supplementing with D3. And of course, if you take D2, it would be eliminated from the body 5 to 7 times faster than if you took D3. So D2 is a really lousy form to supplement with. So as I said previously, vitamin D3 is actually a hormone. In fact, it's a steroid-based hormone. And that is why you have to be slightly cautious when taking it at higher doses over the longer term. This is because it sits in the balance between cortisol and estrogen and the anabolic hormones such as progesterone and testosterone, and also the thyroid hormones. Now D3 fits in this equation as it helps with progesterone and testosterone metabolism, and one of the most powerful aspects of vitamin D3 is that it opposes estrogens and toxic estrogens in the body such as xenoestrogens and also phytoestrogens. So if you are dealing with any type of hormone problems or adrenal problems, then vitamin D is going to be of paramount importance in resolving your issues. Now vitamin D intake is recommended at 400 to 800 international units per day, or 10 to 20 micrograms. However, some studies suggest that a higher daily intake of 1,000 to 4,000 international units, or 25 to 100 micrograms, is needed to maintain optimal blood levels. I certainly wouldn't recommend taking high doses of vitamin D unless you have been diagnosed with deficiency, as high levels of supplemented D in the body can cause a build-up of calcium in the blood, which can cause nausea, vomiting, weakness, and frequent urination. And very high doses can obviously cause some very serious problems. So in summary, during lockdown, if you can get out in the garden, if you have one, then that would always be my primary recommendation. If you really can't get outside, then you have D3 supplements available to you. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.